This Mother's Day, we wanted to do something really special, something very meaningful, beyond just flowers and gifts. We wanted to take some time not just to celebrate our moms, but to actually understand them. And not just as our moms, but as the humans they are. At the Heartbreak Commune, we've always believed that heartbreak isn't just romantic, it comes in different forms. It shows up as the things we've never said, the lives that we didn't get to live, and all the parts of ourselves that we've had to keep aside. And when you really think of it, no one really carries that as much as our moms do. So we thought this Mother's Day, why not call our moms on the show? Presenting to you the stories that she never told by the Heartbreak Commune. And for the very first episode, it had to be my mom because before she was my mom, she was a person with her own dreams, her own desires, her own heartbreaks, and her own story. And she's always been a pillar of strength to me during my heartbreaks and held me together. And it's time that I finally listen to what she's got to say about her own heartbreaks. So, Mom, how does it feel to be a part of the very first episode of our podcast series, Things That She Never Spoke About, which features moms talking about their heartbreaks, their journey, and something that's not really spoken about enough?
I have been looking forward to this actually, and I'm really delighted and honored to be a part of this podcast. My very first talk. I'm here to share some of my experiences, my struggles, and also moments of joy with you.
And what do you think of this concept that we've created, wherein we're inviting mothers to actually talk about things that they might not have got the opportunity to share?
I think it's a brilliant concept, and you're getting mothers to talk about their struggles and also about their experiences and what they wanted to do in life but they couldn't do, and lots more about what they actually are now as a mother.
So, what could be a better gift than
Yes.
this for Mother's Day, right?
Yes, it is, I think, a wonderful thought of having this podcast, especially dedicated for mothers.
Okay, then let's begin without further ado. How were you as a woman before you became a mother? Because usually, the minute you become a mother, I think sometimes, at least in our country, that is the only identity that is left. You know, she's known as a mother, and that's pretty much what she's kind of doing day in and day out, her role as a mother. And we tend to forget who she was as a human being. So tell me about that.
As a child, I was always this very carefree and, lively and happy-go-lucky kind of person. And then slowly I had my own share of struggles. Like even as a teenager, I went through some, I won't call it heartbreak, but there were disappointments, which I couldn't really share with the other family members. Like my mom was a working woman and she wasn't always available emotionally, though she was a very good mother and she never neglected her home, and she was a wonderful homemaker as well as a career woman. But there were times when I would have wanted to share more with her. So I kept a lot of things to myself, and my dad was kind of a dominating figure, a personality where he was very authoritative and he wanted people to obey him. So a lot of things were suppressed, and I'd seen my mom also being very submissive. So, and I started following that. So, but nevertheless, I was always lively and wasn't an overthinker at all. But once I got married, things changed. Life took a 360-degree turn, and I became a different person altogether. And I became more responsible, and I was no longer the happy-go-lucky kind of person. I became very anxious. I wanted to be a good homemaker. I wanted to be a good wife, then a good mother. And
Which I think you are.
yeah,
You're great at
thank you for
all of
saying
that.
that. Yeah, but
It's just that I think sometimes in life we forget to acknowledge
yeah,
these things. And I think now that I speak about it, I realize that it's important to sometimes, I think, pause and just tell people, especially our own people, our loved ones, that they are doing a good job. And
yes,
yeah,
that's
we're
important.
proud of them.
And after becoming a mother, my whole world started revolving around you. Like it was Meghna always. I put you first, and even the husband took a back seat.
I think, yeah,
Like
that's because also being
that's
a
what
single
usually
child.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah, being a single child, I think also there was just a
yeah.
lot of attention that was centered around me. Um,
And
and
I want to say this: I was someone who was never into kids. Actually, I never even
yeah,
carried a baby before marriage. Like you were the first baby I held in my arms, and it just came naturally. Like I didn't learn motherhood or any, I didn't get any tips on how to bring up a child. Because mom was working,
I think
I kind of, it was, I think, a natural
instinctive.
instinct in me, and I learned slowly how to, you know, be a good mother, and I tried my best, and I'm happy with whatever I have done in life, and yeah.
So tell me, do you think you're a strict mom or a cool mom? I think you're pretty cool, but what do you think? And what's your take on this? Do you think that being a cool mom has worked for you? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think that's how parenting should be?
Yes, I always think of myself being a cool mom,
Yeah, I think
chilled
my
out.
ex-boyfriends
Yeah,
would vouch for
yes.
that.
They all know me, not just your ex boyfriends. I think all your friends, female as well
Yeah,
as male friends, know that about me.
yeah,
And I think it has worked beautifully for both of us. This equation, this bond which
yeah,
we share, mother daughter, it's more like friendship.
yeah,
The bond is more of
yeah.
that kind. And you being a single child, I didn't want to be very strict. I saw to it that you don't miss out on having a sibling.
And I think it's also you've grown up in that military rule environment where,
Yes.
everything was so strict and so disciplined. I think you somewhere did not want to repeat that kind of dynamic or
Yes.
equation.
I wanted my child to be free. Like she should have the freedom to express herself,
Yeah.
her fears, everything. Like she should come to me and discuss. So, and yeah, I didn't want this child to live in fear.
But do you think there's a flip side to this when other people perceive you to be, oh, she's a chill mom, or like, oh, she's cool, like, farak nahi padta zyada, it doesn't
Yes,
matter.
there's a flip side to this because I'm very cool, I'm very friendly. So, I've experienced this in the past. Your ex boyfriends took me like casually, and whenever you had heartbreaks and all, it would have a big impact on me. Like, even I got affected badly. But I don't think the guys ever understood this side that the girl's mom can be affected.
I think it's also that when you're perceived to be a super cool mom or more like a friend, and you come across as that, people stop seeing you as an authority figure. So there's no respect in terms of
Yes,
like, oh, this person's like much older. Oh, she's. I think they somewhere the lines are blurred. They forget that this is a parent. I
yes.
think there's no accountability.
So
They
I
don't
think
feel answerable to you.
being friendly and chilled out is fine. Being cool is fine for a parent, but I think there has to be that a little bit of. She should be getting
Boundaries.
boundaries, and she should be getting that little bit of respect.
Yeah. So we spoke about how cool you are as a mom, but how was I as a kid?
As a kid, we were always very serious. I just observed that right from the beginning. You were not like other kids your age. You were always someone very sober. You were not naughty at all. And you were very sincere even when it came to your studies, right from that young age.
That is, yeah.
And yeah, you were always very serious. You took everything very seriously.
I think
And
that's probably the consequence of being like the unpaid therapist
yeah,
for your entire family,
yeah.
because everyone used to come
No,
to me with their problems.
much before that, we came to you. Much before that, you were always someone who would sit by yourself, read. You used to like
Maybe,
to read,
which is why people, I
and
think, forgot that I'm actually a young girl, and maybe
yeah,
they felt like, oh, she's an
you
adult.
didn't go and mingle much with the kids outside who are playing. So you preferred to be. You were kind of a loner for quite some
Yeah,
time. So
people.
I remember we used to come to you with our problems, our issues. So you were more like the agony aunt. Like
I think
people would
that's
come
a
to you with
nice way
some.
to put it, but I
Yeah,
guess it was trauma dumping
I
at
know.
its core.
Yes, now that
Not recommended at all to our
with
viewers.
time I realized that
Yeah, I know.
even I was burdening you with some of my issues, and I should not have involved you in that.
Yeah,
I should have kept you away because you had your own things to deal with.
yeah.
You were
And
going through a
I
lot as
think
a
a
child,
child's
and
role is not to fix a parent's problems
yes,
as much as they might want to, or as
yes,
much as, like, they could be mature, they could be sensible, they could understand a lot more beyond their age. But I think,
yeah. So we should not be dumping our,
yeah.
woes and
And the funny part
issues.
is that these childhood patterns are what are replicated in
Correct.
our adult
And
relationships.
so I realized late in life that they tend to carry it
Yeah.
with them.
And then,
So
even in your adult relationships, we try to fix our partners, just like how we tried to fix our parents, and how we tend to become like a little anxious, and the slightest change of moods or the slightest of issues we
yeah.
notice in relationships, we think that we're the cause of it and we want to fix everything. And it really just is something that only, I think,
Mm.
therapy fixed. Did you ever dream of becoming a mother? And if you did, like, how different was fantasy versus reality now?
Honestly speaking, I never dreamt of being a mother. I just dreamt of a small, sweet family, a harmonious family. I think I got influenced by the Yash Chopra movies and the Rajshri productions, where families are always shown to be very happy and, smiling and full of harmony. But reality was something else.
Reality, I think, is a horror movie. It's like a Ram Gopal Verma movie.
Yes. So it was something very different from what I had imagined. And this I got to know post marriage. So I did feel a little disillusioned.
Okay, so speaking of disillusioned, we'll, I think, dive in a little deeper now into things that we've probably not really, sat down and spoken about, even though we speak about so many things in general. Was there a time where you felt really alone,
After
even as a mother?
marriage, also there were moments of loneliness in spite of having a partner. That's probably because your dad and I are totally different. We are poles apart.
I think opposites attract only looks good in
Yeah.
like
And
films
that's,
and
I think, for a
books.
short span, for a short period. You do need to have things in common.
Yeah.
And the most important part in a relationship is trust and respect. And more than having common likes. When I was a single parent, was handling a lot, like the home as well as you were going through those teenage years where you had problems, and I had to be there. Even the parent-teacher meetings. So there was a lot going on, and I had old parents. So there were times when I felt that I wanted some kind of help also, like morally as well as physically. And I was also getting old, so there were times when I felt I was alone, doing a lot. Also, when you moved away, like for your job to another country, that was again a lonely phase in my life because you and I would have a lot of fun banters and we
Yeah.
did have our share of
I think
arguments
our
and all
movie
that.
nights, and I
Yeah,
think,
so I did miss all that, having chai together
yeah,
and all that. Yeah, I lost my parents in a span of 4 months.
yeah.
You know that.
I think that
Anna and
was the
Pati.
toughest phase
That
ever.
was the toughest phase for both of
It was
us.
a nightmare.
For both of us.
But they're here now.
Yeah, so that, and I'm grateful that I had you and Sky with me who helped me go through this traumatic phase and helped me heal.
What do you think was the hardest phase as a mother until now?
As a mother, I still remember the time we moved from Mumbai to Kuwait. That was a big decision.
It was a nightmare.
Your dad got a job there, and initially we were all excited,
Yeah.
and you were also super excited because you were going to a new land, a foreign land, and
Yeah, I mean, I had no
so
clue about
yes,
what life would
so
be.
we were excited. But once after going there, we realized that it was a very difficult thing to adjust to a new
Yeah.
place. It was culturally very different for us, for all of us, and it was more for you because you had to go to a new school, you had to make new friends, the teachers were new, and you had to learn a new foreign language, Arabic.
Yeah.
And it was really tough. And
Yeah, I remember
I
that.
realized that uprooting you midterm was not a good decision at all. So I realized that late, but thankfully you managed, you worked hard, and you sailed
Yeah,
well.
but
And
I mean, yeah, it was definitely a very hard phase for me as well. I
yes,
remember that.
yes,
And yeah, but it's okay. That's the thing. I think now in hindsight, when you look at it, you'll think like, oh, we've uprooted her. We shouldn't have done that. But I think at that point, y'all did what y'all thought was the best,
yes, yes,
with the knowledge that y'all had, with the understanding that y'all
yes.
had. So it's okay. You don't have to be too hard on yourself. How has my heartbreak affected you as a mother?
You have had multiple heartbreaks, and I don't think anything is hidden from me. I know all of them. I know all your ex boyfriends and what you went through. And yeah, it was, I think, one more tough phase in my life as well. Seeing you go through so much pain. I also experienced the pain, but it was not the same in magnitude. Yours was much more. But I could feel it as a mother, as a woman, what you were going through. But I couldn't help you much. I just tried to be there for you emotionally, but I couldn't fix things.
And we
So,
can't. We can't
yeah,
fix other people's problems. Yeah. But I mean, you've done the best that you could. There was this one time when, obviously, after the biggest heartbreak of my life, when I was in Delhi and you were here in
yes,
Bangalore, and
yes,
you had to take the first flight out.
yes.
And that one night
And
was
the
probably
night,
the longest night of our lives.
actually, frankly, honestly speaking, I was dying every minute. I wanted to be with you, but geographically, it was the distance kept us away. But yeah, I did somehow manage to come there to Delhi and be with you and give you some solace and comfort and strength.
And I think the other thing that's also bothered you is my reaction to these breakups,
Yes.
my panic attacks, my anxiety attacks that you didn't seem to have much of an understanding of earlier before therapy came in.
Yes, I was actually scared because the way you used to break down, it scared me. And I didn't know exactly how to deal with it. Like, so, and then I think you yourself felt the need to go to a therapist, and that helped you quite a bit. And you read books on healing
And I think
and
you also somewhere understood why the panic attacks happen, why the reactions are so strong. Because earlier, the questions that y'all used to throw to me was, oh, why do you forget how capable you are? Or why do you forget
yes,
how, deserving you are of good things? Why do you forget everything else and just act like the world has ended, just because of this one
we
thing? But
used to
then,
think you're overreacting to
no, but
every,
then I think
like
when y'all did
situation.
go to therapy, I think you did
Yes, yes.
realize that
I got a
panic
better
attacks are,
understanding
yeah, and
of
how it all kind of stemmed from my
yeah,
abandonment
your childhood
issues.
issues, and
Yeah.
like if a child is seeing friction in the house from a very young age, so the child is always scared that the parents will, separate and there will be some kind of abandonment.
Yeah.
So this itself is a big trauma for the child, and she carries that in her growing up years.
Let's also talk a little bit about, the reality of motherhood and how people around us perceive mothers to be. Yeah. What do you think, in your opinion, what about mothers needs to be understood more and spoken about more?
You need to understand that it's very tough for a mother to detach herself from the child, be it a daughter or a son. She's always so much into the child, and it's very difficult. People say, okay, take care of yourself. Now the child has grown up, and give more attention to yourself as well. And you lost your identity. People say that also to a mother. But it's not easy. She never retires from being a mother.
It's a never
She'll
ending
always be
job.
a mother, no matter how old the child gets.
Yeah. I think people, when they have to give gyan or they have to give advice, a lot of free advice is just given. But I think when you're actually in that situation, in the shoes of a mother, I think it's very
Yeah.
different. How our Indian society perceive mothers, right? And how some of it is really, really flawed. What perception do you feel needs to really change, and why? Let's talk about that.
Yes. So a lot of expectations are there from the mother, always, in our society, especially. This has been going on from generations. So she's expected to be perfect in whatever she does. She's expected to give the perfect upbringing to the child. But I think it's equally important that the father also gets involved in this process of upbringing. Yeah, so she's also stressed out sometimes. She feels, that
You
she's
feel like
not.
there's no room for failure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pressure. Like, uh, they tell her to, be perfect. Then this you can't be expected of a mother. Like, you can't expect that she can also go wrong. After all, she's human.
Yeah.
So they don't realize this. And
Do you think they're overly critical?
yes, because whenever something good happens, the child does something well, she's successful in something, she's not given credit, the mother. They don't see who's behind that, who has helped her come to this kind of, position in life or whatever it is she has achieved. And it's always when the child does something wrong or not so pleasant, the blame comes on the mother. Fingers are pointed at the mother that you've gone somewhere, you've gone wrong, you haven't brought up the child properly. So, this is what has been happening over the years, and this needs to change. Let's go deeper into this. What we just spoke about, the perception about a mother. I've also felt that there's a lot of the way things are looked, the mothers are looked at. Like a boy's mother is different, and the girl's mother has to behave in a different way. And if the mother has some opinions, then she comes out as a very, strong person, or she's dominating. They think she's controlling her daughter. But when the guy's mother does it, it is
Seen as just, oh,
brushed
she's
off as
just
a
advice or
concern. So,
I think for generations, the girls' side have
yes,
always been taught to be very submissive and just
yes.
listen to everything that the guy's side says. I
We are
think we've
supposed to
been,
accept things, whatever they say.
yeah.
And that
And
also needs to change with times and with education. And you need to have a broader, more modern outlook now, and treat the girl's mothers also with respect.
yeah. And do you think there's also somewhere there's been like a difference in the way girls are taught something and guys are taught something?
Yes. So we teach our daughters, to behave in a certain way, to dress up in a certain way, you know, not to stay out too long at night. So the rules are not the same for the guys. We set a different, altogether different set of rules for the daughter.
So the guy's mom don't really have to train them
Yes.
on certain
And
aspects.
yeah, they don't. But I've also seen when I point out certain things that it's different for a girl's mother, what she goes through. They don't even agree on that.
That is
That is the
very
point I
important.
want to make.
That is very
Mothers
important.
are the same. I agree on that. Yes, they will
Yes,
have concern there. But for a girl's mom, it's always more. The concern,
the pressure,
the pressure is more.
yeah,
Like even
agreed.
if she's coming home late at night, the mothers are going to be very worried. For a mother of a daughter, it's very different.
Yeah,
And this doesn't just end with her getting married.
it
It
continues.
continues.
Yeah,
I want to say this. This is As long as the mothers are alive, the daughters, they'll always be concerned for their daughters and worried for them.
What do you think about the title Supermom? Do you think you're a supermom?
It's a nice title though. Sounds flattering, but I will take it as a compliment also, and also pressure.
Pressure
Both.
in disguise.
Yes, both. So sometimes, yes, it really feels very good to be given the title of a supermom, but also there is some kind of pressure where I would want to then excel. I would want to do more, and I'll push myself.
And keep doing.
Yeah, and I want to retain that.
And there's no end to that.
Yeah, I want to keep the title also.
Yeah.
So I want to give my best and keep doing more and more. So that can be exhausting at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's both pressure as well as a compliment.
What do you think is the most happy part of being a mother, yet ironically also the most painful, if there is a thing like that?
Yeah, so I will go back in time, the moment you were born, and when I held you in my arms, that was actually the happiest moment in my life till date.
And you've always wanted a daughter.
And I always wanted a daughter. And I'm really happy with the things that you have done, and you have blossomed into a beautiful, wonderful woman, not just appearance wise, but you have grown so much. And I'm really proud that you've done so many things, and I'm really proud of you. So this is,
But
but the painful part is whenever you've gone through pain, and I can feel it, like I said, being a woman and then being a mother, which I think every girl's mother goes through, and the helplessness of seeing your child, your daughter go through the painful phases can be very traumatic for the mother also.
and not just that, I think even in general, apart from obviously the big events, something like even watching, I think, or dealing with like your daughter's period pain. I
Yes.
think just watching that whole struggle, I think a woman's life,
Yes.
her
So
journey is just full of like a lot of
periods,
struggles.
the daughter, she has to go through childbirth.
Yeah.
So all
the
this
whole thing, yeah, it's very
and
stressful.
the mother can relate more because she's gone through it herself at some point.
Yeah. But given a choice, would you still want to be the mother of a daughter in probably another life?
100%.
And would you want me as your daughter?
Yes. And you've been.
Maybe we should do a role reversal.
I
and
have
should
been
be-
blessed. I have been blessed to have you as my daughter in this life.
Maybe we could do a role reversal so that
Yes.
I know what it's like to be in
Yeah.
your shoes and you know what it's like to be.
Yeah. So
Okay. Let's, I think, just close with like maybe something that you've never told me but would like to like take a moment and share.
I've always told you, and you know it also, that I'm always there for you. But I want to reassure you that no matter what, you will have my back. You'll always have my support. And like the famous Shah Rukh Khan dialogue, "Main hoon na," always.
Yeah.
So I'll be
I
there.
think somehow this sounds much better than what Shah Rukh Khan
No,
sounds like.
because
So, yeah.
That's all I would like to say. I think that says it all.
Yeah. So, any parting notes on Mother's Day to
A small
everyone out
message
there?
I would like to give all the children. Please spend more time with your mothers. Take time off. Appreciate them, their efforts,
Yeah.
and acknowledge. And don't save it for later, because who knows, kya pata kal ho na ho. So whenever you feel like it, please say it. I regret that I couldn't say some things to my mom. Left some things unsaid. So
Or sometimes I think when we fight also, I think some things, I think we need to pick our battles and like now when we look back, I think I'm sure some of the fights seem very like pointless and irrelevant.
yes. So yeah, it's good to always spend time when they're around. And I think appreciation is important. For a mother also, she needs that. So she gets, some kind of assurance as well as motivation
Otherwise
also.
it's a thankless.
Yeah, otherwise it's thankless. And people, the children tend to take the mothers for granted. Whether it's a daughter or a son, this happens very often. And we all do. I think we've all taken our parents for granted. So
I'll
So
keep
this
that in
Mother's
mind.
Day should be celebrated by taking out time for the parents, for the mothers especially, and acknowledge their efforts and say thank you.
Okay. So
Yeah,
thank you. Let me start by saying thank you for
yeah.
being here with us
It
today.
was a
And I
pleasure.
think it was the most amazing conversation I've ever
Yes, it
had
was a
with you.
pleasure to be on your podcast.